Welcome back, ladies, gents, femmes, and thems. My name's Catsea the DeVille, and I'm back for another week of movie and show review. This week, we're talking about A Quiet Place 1 and 2, available on Paramount+. This is the first time we're reviewing a movie and its sequel, and I have some opinions, so strap in, grab your beverage, and let's talk some tea. The first movie in this duology is set in a post-apocalyptic future where these Demogorgon-like creatures of unknown origin have infested the planet, hunting humans with their acute sense of hearing to near extinction. The story follows a family of 5, Evelyn and her husband Lee, struggling to raise their children in a farm in upstate New York in absolute silence to avoid attracting the attention of the beasts lurking outside. Occasionally, the whole family has to travel out of the safety of their home to the lifeless town in search of food and supplies in order to survive another day. The tension created in these moments are palpable, and it's got me sitting on the edge of my seat. The family is always trying to keep completely silent, and the silence is deafening, building the tension so high that even a pin drop would send shivers down my spine. This movie is incredibly suspenseful. Watching the family persevere with their losses while preparing to bring a new life into the world had me absolutely hooked. The monsters were pretty neat, and the questions of where they came from left me salivating, wanting more lore. I wanted to know how the creatures got there, what the purpose of these brutal hunters are, and how or why they rampage and seem to kill, never for food, but just seemingly pleasure. This movie, I'll go ahead and give the final score first before we move on. So for good pacing, good suspense, neat monsters, heart-racing action, leaving me wanting more, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Now, that's a pretty high score for somebody who doesn't watch suspense or horror, so let's go ahead and jump right into the second movie. Quiet Place 2 takes place right after the first one, with flashbacks to when the world first fell apart compared to current day. The movie does introduce new faces with new end goals for survival. Although the movie tried to answer some of the questions that the first left, the movie actually left me feeling really underwhelmed and really frustrated. I was disappointed in the representation of stress that the characters were dealing with and the PTSD of events prior. The film even took a certain character who had so much potential from the first movie and forced unrealistic actions onto them in ways that constantly broke me from my immersion. For a movie that had such a good premise, the suspense and tension in the sequel felt overdrawn and paled in comparison to the first. I was looking forward to this movie for ages, being a huge fan of the first and checking every movie rental box, Googling for online viewings, movie theater listings, just to gauge when I'd be able to see it, and in the end it was a really big letdown. I'm giving the sequel a 2 out of 10. It wasn't terrible, giving a lot of small good things to do with lore, but it felt just so flat in my expectations. So the real question is it worth a subscription? No, not in my opinion. But if you ever do plan on watching both movies, a free trial would be worth it, because the first movie is actually a really well-rounded suspense. But today's art is a speed paint of me designing my VTuber, which I then animated and used today. So if you think that you'd like to be a VTuber, feel free to message me on Discord or Twitter, and I'd be thrilled to bring you and your vision to life, like I did for myself. But that's it for today, everyone. What did you think of A Quiet Place 1 and 2? Was I reasonable in my expectations, or was I way off key? And what would you like to see me review next week? Comment below, and I'd love to hear what you've got to say. To our 3 Patreon subscribers, to those sending Ko-fis, commissioners, subscribers on Twitch and Patreon, I appreciate it. You're helping make this possible. But stay happy, healthy, hydrated, and thriving, and we'll see you next week.